State your name and spell it.
Sure, it's Mike Hobson. Last name spelled H-O-B as in baby, S-O-N.
Mike is going to demonstrate how he muds up the baseball games. And how many?
I always want to make sure that I have 13 dozen ready to go. 10 dozen that I'll send out at the start of the game, and then I'll have another 3 dozen in reserve. Occasionally, we go through more than that. We play a game like we did last night with 16-6, or just we play an extra inning game. It's going to be more than that. So just do what you think you're going to get through, and you always have stuff in reserve. But basically, just making sure that you have enough moisture in your hands so that when you get this mud that comes pretty well mudded. It's not just dirt; it's mud. And you just in your hands and just work it in. And last year I had to do. It was pretty much just me. I touched every single baseball in the 2013 season that we played with. Mudded every single one of them. No one else did them. And then this year I have an assistant that's pretty good at it. That's been nice to have. So cuts my.
So you say the minor league balls, a dozen costs about $50, and the major league.
I'm not exactly sure how much
60
that costs,
maybe?
but I can't imagine it's that much more. 60, 70 bucks a dozen, maybe something like that. I could be completely wrong, but.
And the reason they do this is to take the sheen off the ball.
Yeah, the original reason for mudding the baseball is to take the sheen off, to take a little bit of that shininess off, help with the grip a little bit, but also darkening the baseball. I've never had it. No one's ever asked me or said anything to me, the hitters or the pitchers. I just kind of do it, and no one's ever said anything. But you hear, I remember Nolan Ryan hearing stories about how he would always go to the clubby or whoever and say, "No, I need you to mud them up a little bit darker, a little bit darker." And he had a very specific way he wanted it to be mudded up, because the darker it is, the harder it is for the hitter to see it.
Right.
And the lighter it is, obviously, the easier. So pitchers want them to be dark as night, and the hitters want them as light as day.
So they can pick them up better.
So they can see it better. But so I try not to make it too dark, but I don't also want it to be so light that it's kind of defeating the purpose. But so that's basically how you do it. It's pretty monotonous, but I've gotten it down to pretty good science where I can do, if I do it by myself, if I do 12 dozen, I can do it in about 35 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike, for showing us that.
No problem. Pleasure.